This podcast is part of the A3K network. For more information, visit www.anime3000.com.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Two Guys and the Mike podcast. I'm the practitioner of the pimp hand of courage, Jahmere Durham, and joining me in the show will be the laughing man himself, Michael Martinez. We're dedicated to giving you the best in anime news, reviews, and convention coverage. We can also be found hosting the A3K podcast on anime3000.com. Now join us as we review Ga-Rei Zero. Wow, this is different. Mike and I had a chance to review an anime that started out really bad, but ended up being actually worthwhile. And the name of that anime is Ga-Rei Zero. Ga-Rei frickin' Zero.
I'll tell you right now, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
At first glance, when somebody tells you, hey man, have you seen Ga-Rei Zero? No, what's it about? Alright, well it involves this girl, okay? She goes to a high school.
Like most animes.
Yeah, like most animes. Okay. Is she ordinary? Yeah, on the outside, of course she is. Is this going to have something to do with spirits? Yes. Not interested. but then you watch like the first episode, and after the first episode, you either felt two ways. One, oh my god, that was badass. How are they going to follow this up? Or two, wow, that was pretty sad. I don't think I want to watch the rest of this anime.
I'll tell you right now, in the first episode, I was confused and scared, and I loved it. Every moment of it.
When I saw the first episode, I had a mixture. It was a mixture of, oh my goodness, they are not pulling this Haruhi Suzumiya type crap on us again with these out of order episodes in which everybody that you know, before you even have time to know if you like the characters or feel any sympathy for them, they're dead within 20 minutes.
Die.
And I'm not talking about the foot soldiers that get ran over by the fiery Don fan. I'm talking about the main characters of the story, who you think are at first the main characters of the story, until they're they're
slaughtered.
They're destroyed.
They get destroyed in the worst possible way. I'm watching the first episode and I'm like, okay, this looks pretty good. They're gonna survive. Oh look, her head's on the floor.
Game
wait.
over.
No, I think the funniest part in the first episode was when the dude gets his hand cut off and he's like, oh, I dropped my hand. Honestly, at that moment, Deadpool ran through my fucking head and he's like, hey, can I get a hand?
The thing about the first episode, now before people start saying, okay, wow, we're not going to watch this because the way it sounds like, something stupid, you should know that Ga-Rei Zero is a prequel to the Ga-Rei manga that came out a long time ago, probably around 2006, 2007. And it features it centers around this girl named Kagura who has the ability to see spirits. And her family is the master of this, or I guess you can call it like the host of this dragon-type spirit called Byakue. I call him the Pac-Man dragon because whenever he comes out, waka 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 waka, he just starts devouring souls. But Byakue is, I believe it's called. That's where the Ga-Rei comes from because the spirit is called a Ga-Rei, and Kagura's family are the holders or the hosts of that particular Ga-Rei, and they're spirit vanquishers, which just the way it sounds, their job is to go out and destroy spirits that affect the natural order of all other living spirits on Earth, or just in Japan for the anime title. But this Ga-Rei Zero centers around Kagura, and
A relationship
they
with
sort of, what they did was, in the manga, the main character is a guy named Kensuke, and the other main character is Kagura, and they can both see spirits, and it's one of those, the guy can see spirits, but he doesn't know anything about what's going on. The girl kills a spirit that's attacking him. They start to like each other, and then she transfers over to a school because his ability to see spirits is, I guess, greater than everyone else's. So the place that Kagura works for wants to keep an eye on him, and then he winds up getting dragged into, what her job is, and becomes a full-fledged spirit killer. Like she.
Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it's a kind of generic storyline, and I guess what happened when the anime came out was the people looked at the manga and they were like, yeah, bump that. We're gonna do our own take on it. And what they did was, instead of making Kagura and Kensuke the main characters of the show like the manga did, they took one of the first enemies from the manga and made her into a good character as sort of like a big sister type relationship for Kagura. And then they quickly disassembled that big sister relationship, turned her back into a villain, and just made her go batshit crazy for the second half of the anime, which are covered in the first 4 episodes.
Yeah, that the way they did that was, I was actually wanting to see how they got Yomi to turn, because I read some of the couple chapters beforehand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I'm confused as shit right now. Then later on in the series, you figure out what happens, and I'm like, oh, they did that pretty good.
It's one of those series where you're watching it, and then somebody will say, hey man, did you ever finish Ga-Rei Zero? And you're like, nah, dude, after the second episode, man, it didn't look like it could hold my attention. They're like, oh, you should have finished it, because they actually explain like what happened to make her kill all those people. It's like, wait, you mean she wasn't evil in the first place? They pulled the old switcheroo. Like 4 episodes of, oh man, they need to kill this girl right now. And then the 5th episode, you actually start to feel sympathy for the character. Her name is Yomi. And Yomi has a generic story too, like, oh my goodness, my parents were killed by a spirit when I was young. One of the main families of spirit vanquishers took me in, trained me to become a spirit killer. I'm now a really good spirit killer.
And I have somehow managed to acquire their sword.
Yeah.
Like that's passed down through family bloodline. And now people are angry at me because of it, because I'm an outsider.
Yeah, you don't deserve the sword. You're not a blood relative of the Isayomi. I think
Isayomi clan.
Yeah, okay. Isayama clan.
Yeah, and then at that point, okay, that's nice and all, but what the fuck have you done for the family?
Yeah, that was what made the villain so stupid, was the fact that they explained this earlier in the series. The villain is basically one of those people who says, I'm going to complain about something that should be rightfully mine, even though I haven't done any work at all to earn it. But hey, I'm not saying that I'm saying that I'm unworthy, but at least give my daughter the rightful title of Spirit Vanquisher. And the guy was like, no.
No.
He's like, well, you forced my hand, sir. I'm going to have to do some kind of political bull crap so that my daughter gets the sword. And unfortunately, by causing
that didn't work out very well, did it?
By betraying her and then killing her surrogate father, and then making all the other families in her clan see her as the enemy, you forced her to go and find forces of power that she can get her revenge on. And when she found that power, it was explained in episodes 1 through 4 of all the stuff that happened after she acquired it. And it was not pretty at all.
It was not pretty at all.
It was basically one of the stories of, okay, you're going to treat me like this? My father's already dead. There's nothing more for me to really live for. I'm going to kill each and every single person in the agency. I'm I'm going to kill each and every single person in the other families, and then after I'm done killing every person in the family and the agencies,
I'm gonna kill the fucking world.
I'm going to take my summon beast, and I'm going to kill each and every single person in the world. And then that's my revenge. I'll be done after that. And then, what? Go.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I was gonna go, yeah, after that, I think I'll call it a day. Probably go to Florida, chill at the beach.
Yeah, where nobody's there to bother me because everybody else is dead.
Yeah. Chill there with my fucking summon spirit, be like, yeah, that was fun.
And fortunately, now, and just like in regular anime, it would have been different if it was like a secret thing where she said, okay, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you, and I'm going to kill you, and then whatever happens after that, my revenge will be complete. I don't care what happens. But she had to be like, okay, I'm going to kill the family, I'm going to kill the clan,
I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you,
and then I'm going to kill the main character because she's a resemblance of the family that I left behind, so I have to kill you. And then after I kill you, I'm going to kill the entire world. And then that doesn't sit well with the main character. So the main character's like, okay, I'm going to have to kill you now. So it's
just one big circle of killing.
Yeah, that's where the tagline, will you kill someone you love because of love, comes in. Because Kagura loves Yomi. Even when she killed her friends, Kagura loves Yomi. Even when even when Yomi went out and killed her father, Kagura still loves Yomi. When Yomi went and slaughtered countless people in agencies, still loves
When she fucking neutered Homeboy's best friend. That was wrong.
Still loves Yomi.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Make no mistake, people, this is not a show about action and it kind of is, but it's not really an action-oriented show. It's more of a story-driven show. It's 12 episodes long.
Yeah. I thought it was 15.
Me too, but they pulled it's only 12 on us.
The whole story for the series focuses around Yomi and Kagura's relationship.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, that in a nutshell, that's exactly what it is.
So, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and they told it very well. There were some episodes that I was like, with, but most of the episodes were funny.
It's different. Seriously? It's different members of the agency. It's not really that important to go into who she worked with. Everybody besides Noriyuki, because Noriyuki was the only one that had any really central tie to the story, because he was Yomi's fiance of the arranged marriage.
Nabu.
Yeah, no, they're not that important. Noriyuki had a problem because even at the end he could not kill Yomi. He had a chance to kill Yomi and he couldn't kill Yomi.
He had 2 chances to kill Yomi.
And then he had to watch his best friend die. Glad he got over that though. Seriously, that series would have been like so bad if he had decided that he was going to quit and left without doing anything. That would have been so stupid.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that, he got over it. It's like, okay, I watched my best friend get neutered in front of me and then have his internal guts spill out. I'm fine.
Even though it was 12 episodes long, it did have some boring parts. I guess the first 4 episodes were just meant to pull you into the story. Some anime do this, like, they'll start... It won't even be the main storyline. Something will just happen. And you're like, oh man, I'm going to finish this now just because of that. Ga-Rei took like a weird approach to it where if you had never read the manga before, the first episode would have been like, oh wow, okay, guy with dual wielding pistols riding on a motorcycle that's filled with spirit energy that can kill things with its tires. Check.
And yes, then the fucking girl who can like do seamlessly impossible capoeira tricks from her bike. That was fucking awesome.
And then you realize at the end of the episode when they're all dead, wait a minute.
What the fuck?
They're not the main characters.
It's like, wait, those guys were badass. Okay, maybe the next set of people come out who look like the main character will be badass. Unfortunately, though, one of the main characters whines a lot.
Yes, I wanted to give Kagura. Look, people who make anime, please pay attention to this. When you make an anime, if the main character cries a lot, it better be one of the most dramatic stories. I have ever seen in my life. Either that or it better be a comedy where the gag is that character crying all the time. Because the only times where I remember Kagura where I thought, okay, crying is necessary, when Yomi got attacked by the spirit kid, who is kind of the main villain for the entire manga and or show. You have to watch that. Yeah. They never did say his name.
Then when she killed her.
Yeah, when she killed her and when her father died. That's it. Every other time besides that, or when she killed the nurse, every other time time besides that, I wanted to jump into the TV and give Kagura the pimp hand of courage. Stop crying! Why do you keep crying? Every episode, you're crying over something. They could have done something where they went to a restaurant and she dropped her fork on the floor.
I was like, next thing you know, oh my god, I spilled my milk.
It's like, stop crying! Nobody else in that anime cries except you. I don't even see how the actress could have went through that. Like, could you cry one more time? We don't think it was that heartfelt.
Oh my god! meanwhile, the other people in there are laughing their asses off. But then it's like, wait, you'll get your fucking turn.
Now, here's the thing that it made me warm up to this series. Most of the time, when you have a first episode like this show did, they threw all their chips on the table. All right, they threw everything on the table in the first episode. It was like, here's all the action we can do. Here's what these characters can do. Here's the animation for the fight scenes. Here are these different weapons. Blah blah blah. And most anime, when they do that, you're like, okay, I've seen this. What's to keep me from leaving this series later? The thing that didn't keep us from leaving this series, aside from the fact that we had to review it, was the fact that it has good storytelling. The story in it is good. You don't. It's not just there's a sword with a chain that's attached to another sword that
it's so fucking useful.
That's named after Michael. That's one of the best weapon designs I've ever seen.
Yes.
There is not.
Oh my god, I love that sword. It's so. I'm sorry. I need to go off on a little tangent right here. That sword is so fucking useful. You could slash.
It's like Batman's utility belt in blade form.
Yes, it is. With Michael 12, soon then it gets upgraded to Michael 13, where it can fucking host little bullets in it that can make your swings even faster. That was so cool. That sword is so useful in so many situations. Oh no, my sword's all the way over there. Chain.
Now it's back in my hands.
It's like decapitate like fucking 5 people, and then you catch it. All right.
Besides the storytelling, the weapon. There was an iron that shot out steamed holy water. There was a guy with suitcases that shot mini missiles from the side of the suitcase. The drill guy who used his hands as drills, and then
I want to know
there were the
one thing about that drill guy. Like every time he shot out the drill, did it like fly back to his hand, or did he have to like walk over to it and pick it up?
I think it was stuck in the person that he just went over and picked it up.
That's cool as shit.
Yeah, they never showed it, but he always had like new ones. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, look, I will say something about the series. Ga-Rei Zero has some of the most interesting weapon designs ever.
Yeah, I'm very glad that they didn't go off on a tangent with this show and make it like. Usually, when you see a show that's really good, the fan in you is like, "Wow, man, they should really make a second season," which they should for this show. But the 12 episodes that they give you are so solid and focused on the storytelling. There are fights here and there are battles, but the show doesn't just throw them in there for the sake of throwing them in there. There's not a villain every episode where Kagura has to go out and kill a specific spirit that's haunting a specific person, or there aren't throwaway episodes where they just go to a specific place and there's nothing but talking. There are those talking episodes, but whenever they do it, it's story driven. Yeah, and that's the thing I appreciated, was that the talking points were boring sometimes, but at least they had something to do with the story. So later on, when something happened, you could be like, okay, yeah, and like 2 episodes ago, they explained that, and that's who this person is.
Even the filler episode had something to do with the story, which I liked.
What filler episode?
The episode where they try to get Noriyuki and Yomi to like each other more.
that really wasn't a filler episode. That was more of.
I consider it a filler episode.
That was a story driven episode because it was going into the relationship between Yomi and Noriyuki.
Yeah, I know, but I still consider it a filler episode.
It did kind of seem out of place.
Yeah.
Especially with the stuff that happens later. It managed to deliver on the promises that it made in the first episode.
It did.
Which is a good thing. And that's not something that all anime can do, especially Tokyo Majin, Gaku, and Kenpocho. Dude, Ga-Rei Zero is an example of a first episode being very, very good and then the series being good. Tokyo Majin is an example of the first episode being very, very good and then the rest of the series being very, very bad.
Yeah.
It was just boring. But
yeah.
There's not much. There's not that much else that we could say. It's a great first episode. You could kind of classify it as being sort of a Yuri series, even though there's nothing. There's not really anything in it that would show you that. It's just the relationship of the characters. It's your own interpretation. But mine is
aside from that little Yuri scene from that was done between Yomi and Kagura with the Pocky, but that's aside from that, that's about really it.
They like each other to the point of she's killing people. Okay, there are times when you watch anime, the person's killing people. Yeah, I love you, but you have to be stopped. Kagura was like, okay, I love you, but maybe you can sort this out on your own. No, there was none of that. There was killing, and more killing. And you know what the funny thing is? The person that directed this show, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what his project was before Ga-Rei Zero? Girls Bravo. The person that directed Ga-Rei Zero, the last anime that he directed was Girls Bravo.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that would come as a surprise to you.
How did you go from something like so?
He took the job, man. He took the job.
Damn. It's like that man took the call and he answered it.
The only thing that just it continually makes me laugh about the show was you're watching the first episode, you've never read the manga. All this stuff happens that makes you go, oh my god, that was cool. They're here to save the day. Spirits are dying. Okay, this is cool.
And then
everybody dies. It's like the character. It's like the story. The story director for the anime, because this doesn't happen in the manga. It's like the people for the anime could have all came out on the screen at that time, pulled down their pants, gave you the moon, and then turned around and gave you a giant middle finger, and then walked off screen, and you would have had no choice but to clap your hands slowly and then respect what they had done, because you're like, it's like getting rickrolled. You got me.
Yes.
You got me, son of a bitch.
It's like, you guys got me. Oh my god, that like the first episode of this series is like the biggest troll ever.
You got me.
Like, oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
I still can't get over that first episode. I watched it like 4 times because.
If you haven't seen this,
you need to.
You're gonna get it on DVD or Blu-ray from Funimation. You can watch it both dubbed and subbed. It's also on Netflix.
Yes.
This may be one of the I call them U-turn anime series, because they'll start out one way and then by the end of it you're like, well, that was weird. The last anime that I saw that did that was Gungrave. The first episode turns what could have been a disaster into something that may have been one of the best anime series of all time. Ga-Rei Zero is not one of the best anime series of all time, but you can watch this. Yeah, you can watch this if you want a story-driven anime. It's got action in it. It's got story. The animation is good. Yes, there are CGI, spirits, and some of it does look out of place, but for the most part, it's got some pretty cool stuff in it. So I would give it a B. And the only reason why it doesn't get an A is because does she have to cry in every episode, man?
Yeah, that's what's good. I was thinking about it while you were talking, and I'm weighing everything down. The story was good. The fight scenes were good. They were like, the jokes were funny. They weren't stale, where it's like you have to force a smile on your face and shit like that. No, It was good. The only thing that pissed me off was Kagura's constant
freaking
tears, like everything, like
crying, bitch.
Crying every episode. I'm sorry. It's like,
All right, so if you haven't seen this, go watch it legally, please. Thank you.
Yes.
And
please.
Watch out for our next podcast. We will be reviewing Marduk's Scramble. It's a movie. It'll be the first movie that we reviewed, so stay tuned for that. And we'll also be talking about different topics. We won't just be reviewing anime series. We'll also be periodically posting up topics that we can actually have discussions on. So stay tuned for those, because we usually, have fun doing it, and you get to see another side of the podcast that we haven't shown aside from just reviewing things. So this is Jahmere Durham and Michael Martinez. Yeah, Michael Martinez. And we'll see you guys next time.
Don Fett!